All right, good evening. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to pass it over to Greg, KN6KIE, to start us off. Take it away, Greg.
Hey, everybody. KN6KIE here. Welcome to the Anti-Net with the 2 Meter Crew. I want to start out by saying we're not an actual club, but we are a club. But we're just a bunch of hams, you know. There's no dues or fees or anything of that sort. We just love to get together. We love sharing, and we enjoy anything ham related. So to be a part of the community, all you have to do is participate. We have an active Discord, and I'm sure somebody's going to put that up in the YouTube chat for us. And it's just it's a fun way for us to share and connect. So, anyways, moving through this, let me pause here. Kilo November 6 Kilo India Echo. I'm going to do something that my friend Chris used to do, and 6CMB used to love doing, opening up with the Today in History kind of thing. So to keep that alive, I'm going to do it as well. So just a quick one here. Back in 1932 today, the body of aviation hero Charles Lindbergh's baby was found more than 2 months after he was kidnapped. He was a very popular guy in terms of celebrity for flying the Spirit of St. Louis over the Atlantic. And this was about 2 months later. And let's just move through it. That's one thing today in history in 32. Back in 35 as well, Alcoholics Anonymous was founded in Akron, Ohio by Bill W., who was a stockbroker at the time, and a Dr. Bob S., who at the time was a heart surgeon. there wasn't a whole lot of cool news to tell you, so it's all kind of not the nicest. Uh, Pause.
I'm paying attention, I promise.
All right, good, because I'm not so much, man. Back in 1940, Nazi blitzkrieg and the conquest of France began with the crossing of the Meuse River. And then again in 1994, an early crisis of the Cold War comes to an end when the Soviet Union lifts its 11-month blockade on West Berlin. This block had been broken by a massive U.S. British airlift that brought vital supplies to West Berlin's 2 million citizens at the time. That's my day in history. I also want to state that we are also, if there's anybody who needs to break in for any emergency purposes, we will absolutely, relinquish the line. So if there's anybody there who needs this line, please come now. All right, guys, with that said, this is Kilo November 6 Kilo India Echo. And I want to tell everybody that we've got a bunch of different ways to access this net tonight. I know there's a lot of folks, hopefully, who have seen us on YouTube. And if you have, please hit the like button for us. But global access is we have an all star node, 51094. We have a DMR talk group at 314 9964. We've got an Echolink connection at W6VV-R as well as WG5EEK-L. We've also got a YSF reflector at 24033 and a WireZex YSF reflector out in the Contra Costa Fusion group. We call it the Coco Fusion out here locally, but that group is 80280. Give them a try every once in a while. It's a great group of folks over there if you're into YSF. Locally, we're also being broadcast on a W6VVR repeater. That is at 14547 with a negative offset of 600 kilohertz and a PL of 127.3. Our subject tonight is we're going to talk with Nick and Justin. They've been doing a lot of research and they want to show us a Dudestar and the like. And with a name like that, I think it sounds awesome. So I'm going to hand it back over to them, KN6KIE, and I will break.
Hey, good evening. This is Nick, KN6DAL. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, tonight I thought would be a little bit of fun to go over an application. So, getting into the hobby, and a lot of times we try to tailor our conversation around people that are just starting out or just getting involved. Sometimes it can be overwhelming with all the different things that you can do. There's CW, there's digital modes, there's just programming repeaters into an analog radio. There's HF. There's, all kinds of things. You can bounce your signal off of the moon. I mean, just the rabbit holes to go down are endless, right? And what I thought would be interesting is what can we do to try to help, give people access to some of these modes and some of these different ways of operating radio without having to get so fully involved and financially invested that you can't go back if you don't like it, right? Because how much fun is that? So one application that I ran across, I actually got it on my phone first, and I'm going to show you how to download it on a computer, and then how to use it on your phone is very, very similar, but it's called Dudestar. The variation for Android is called Droidstar. And I see in the comments, Ben, W6LLB, I'm sorry, I don't have an iPhone. I don't know how to do it on iOS. But if you go to Digital Analog Ham, Chris put out a fantastic video just a couple days ago on how to install this same program on a Mac. I believe he just showed how to do it on an iPhone. So hopefully that'll be helpful to the people that don't have Android. But for those that have a PC running Windows, this should be helpful to you. And I'll try to explain it in words the best way that I can. There are going to be some visual graphics on YouTube for those of you that want to join. Go to Northwest Ham Shack on YouTube and you can follow along with us. So I'm going to let this break and get it popped up on my screen, and I'll be right back. All right, Nick KN60AL here. So the first thing that I found, I went through a couple of different places to try to find more information on how to download this first off. And the best description and the easiest source I found was this website, which is Victor Kilo 3 Tango Bravo Sierra. So that's vk3tbs.home.blog. And if you just type in Dudestar space VK3TBS, it'll take you right to that first link. And when you click on that link, it's going to take you to a script that talks to you about, how to install this and different functionalities. And so if you want to just go through this on your own time, this is a great resource for you. But realistically, we're looking for two things. There's two applications that we need to download. And the first one, it says the first step is go to Dudestar GitHub page and follow the address. And then there's a link that you can click. You're going to click on that link, and then you go to code, and then just download the zip file right there. Once you download it, it'll go into your downloads, and then you can unzip it. For those of you that don't know how to do that, you just open your download files. You go to the zipped file, and you right-click on it. You should have a either 7-zip or there's other variations of that. And then you can just hit extract files. It'll make a copy of that. That's an unzipped version. And then you just leave that file right there. You don't have to do anything else with that. And then the second step that you need to do is go back to that page that you were on. And the next step is to run an executable file, which is basically like the application that you're going to download on your computer. So you click on that, and it'll put another application in your downloads, and then you just go to that. It'll have a star on it. It'll say Dudestar. It'll also, when you go to download this, it'll give you an option in the downloads for whether you have a 32 or a 64-bit operating system. Whichever one applies to you, download that one, and then you just double-click on it and open it up. And then when you open this up, it's gonna take you to a main page that's gonna have some different things that you can input on it. You're gonna want to go to the second tab that says Settings, and there's several different things that we need to input in here in order to get this application up and running. And for ID, this is Nick KN6DAL. The first three lines, vocoder, you're going to leave that set at software vocoder unless you have an external vocoder that is designed to work separately and be interfaced with your computer. You're just going to use the setting of software vocoder for now. The next two, depending on your individual setup as far as what kind of microphone you use, whether it be just a microphone on a webcam or whatever is set up at your station or at your computer, you're going to select for the third option, and then the second option is going to be your audio out. So if you have speakers set up, or if it's just coming out of regular whatever your settings are in your settings for Microsoft, you're gonna set up here for Windows. Next one is your call sign. Input that, and then the next line down, it's going to say DMR settings. So this is very important that you get these inputted accurately. The first thing that it's going to ask you for is a DMR ID, and I'm gonna pass this over in just a second to Justin, and he's going to go over what it takes to get a DMR ID. For those that are just starting out on digital modes, you may not have this already. And if you don't, it takes a little bit to set it up, but we'll pass it over to Justin, and he'll explain that a little bit, and then we'll go back to finishing this off and see how it works. So with that, I'm going to let the repeater break, and I will pass it over to Justin.
Screen sharing, Nick.
Oh, I have to give you the approval. There you go. KN6DAL, passing it over. Go ahead.
KM6ZTH. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about how to get a DMR ID. So for those of you following on YouTube, you should now be seeing a screen, and those of you out in RF land, I'll do my best to describe what we're looking at. So you're going to want to make your way to a URL, radioid.net. Pretty easy to remember. If you don't, just doing some Googles or whatever your search engine is for DMR ID or radio ID will end up getting you to this website. And when you get to radioid.net, one of the first things you want to do, because you may be going, did I get a DMR ID when I got that hotspot years ago? Or have I done this at some point in time? So the first thing I would suggest doing is hitting database. And then once the database loads up, go over and do a little search. Do a DMR user ID search. And then, throw in your call and see what comes up, right? But I know I'm in this system. So let's say you do a search and you don't find it. So you're going to want to go down to the sign in/sign up. And right in this spot here, you can, maybe you did and you were like, how do I find my password? Well, put your call sign in, and you can always do the forgot password, or you can hit the sign up. Now it's going to tell you some interesting stuff here about making sure, it's got all the legal stuff and some of the things you're going to need to sign up. And sign up is not instantaneous. It's going to take a day, maybe two, depending upon what some of those things are. So when you go in and you go through the sign up process, they want to ultimately verify that you're a ham. So on top of needing to find your login and establish a login with Radio ID, you need to go to the FCC database, but not just the normal ULS we're all used to going to and looking one another up or trying to figure something out there. You need to go to the license manager. So what I like to use for a search with that, and I'll let the repeater drop.
Golf Victor Mike.
I think I heard I think there was a call in there for Victor Mike. Do you have traffic there?
The call is Kilo India 7 Golf Victor Mike. Name is Kelly. I'm located here in Everett, Washington. I'm not sure where you are. I've heard this frequency. It's obviously on a simplex frequency, 439.125 with a subaudible tone. I'm just curious where this is, if anybody out here may know.
I'll take it.
And what is your QTH?
Hey, Kelly, this is Nick, KN6DAL. This is actually a net that I, along with many other people, stream. It's interconnected between multiple repeaters and like literally hundreds of digital modes. If you want to follow along, it's also being streamed at Northwest Ham Shack on YouTube. And after the net tonight, I can I'll give you a ring and lay out on all the details. Back over to you.
Yeah, I've ran across this here not too long ago, a couple, 2-3 months ago, and I've been curious of where it was at. But I'll let you guys continue with your net. I'll sit here and monitor and see what I can figure out. KI7 GVM.
All right, thanks, Kelly. KI7 GVM. This is Nick, KN6DAL. Back over to Justin. Take it away.
KM6ZTH, yeah. So when we're talking about our getting our official license, we need our FRN number. And for those of you who have not gotten an FRN number, there's one out there, and there's ways to search for it. You're going to go find that. And it's my understanding now, for anybody getting a license right now, they no longer accept social security numbers. You have to have an FRN. So, point is, you got to look up your FRN. Do whatever it takes to find your federal registration number, your FRN. Once you find that, you're going to want to throw that into this website here, which is an FCC database for your license manager. So you'll want to do a search for FCC ham license or official license, right? Because what you need to do is download the official license. Now, I personally have gone through and when I downloaded it, I saved it to a special spot. So I always just have a copy. I don't have to remember how to get back in here. But many of us haven't. So once you do get in with whatever your passwords are and all that fun stuff, you're going to actually end up on a page that looks much more like this. So it's going to have all your official licenses. So here you've got my ham license, you've got my GRMS license, and I'm sure if you have any other official FCC licenses, they're all housed here. So you can look through these. You can click right up at the very top here where it says My Licenses. It's got a little green bar. It says Download Your Official Electronic Authorizations here. When you click that, that's going to take you over to yet another license manager page where you can come over, select your which license you want to get the download for. You'll click that, you'll hit add, you'll hit select. Ultimately, it's going to send you out so that you can download a PDF. And you will get something, and I'm not going to show the whole thing, but it's going to actually have behind it in a, what's that called, kind of a watermark behind it. It's going to say official copy. And it's those words, it's all the bits and pieces here. It's this document you have to upload to the Radio ID folks. So as part of your process, you do that as you sign up through the Radio ID. And once you do that, and once they've established you, then you get to have, let's see, that's on one other page here. You get to have a DMR ID. KM6ZTH. And so once you have your DMR set up, and once they have approved you, you'll be able to log in. You just won't have an ID, but they'll give you a login. And once that happens, you'll be able to log into Radio ID. You'll see your call. You'll be able to see your DMR ID. So you can click on that. Oop, it logged me out. So you can get all kinds of fun stuff going there. You can get your ID. You can request an NXDN. If you have a DMR repeater, you can put that there. Great information here. You hit hotspot. You go, I have a hotspot. I have a DMR radio. How do I do this? It explains it to you right here. It tells you about how you use the same ID. You just have to be smart about how and where you use and what you do exactly. So amazing information here on radioid.net. Amazing videos out there from a variety of the YouTubers as well. So if this doesn't cover it, there's great resources out there. And once you have this ID, now you take it back over to Dudestar. And we'll take it back over to the dude, KN6DAL, KM6ZTH, clear.
All right. Thanks, Justin. This is Nick, KN6DAL. We'll bring it back over to our screen here. And so we've accomplished that, DMR ID. It's a little bit of work, but here's the thing, everybody. Once you have that DMR ID established, you're going to be able to use that in many different ways. One of the things that we didn't cover is you do need to create a password protection for your DMR ID, and you do that at the Brandmeister website. So I might actually just share that really quick so that everybody can see that, because for security reasons, they've made you have to start password protecting your DMR ID. And so you go to the Brandmeister dashboard. You can just search Brandmeister. That's BRANDMEISTER. You're going to log in here. And then once you have that DMR ID set up and you create a login for Brandmeister, it's going to show all of this information here. You just click on your call sign right here and then go to an option called self-care. When you go to self-care, different radios are set up a little bit differently, but at the very bottom of this, it's going to say hotspot security. You're going to want to make sure that that is checked on, and then you enter in a password right here, and you save it. Simple as that. Once you have that saved, you're going to enter that same password in right here. And then one of the things that Justin alluded to and he showed on the screen was that you use this same DMR ID, and you have multiple kind of pseudo IDs underneath that, which are designated with a number, and so you can use that number if you want to separate it if you're using multiple things. But for the most part, if you're just starting out, just use none or 0, whatever this shows. So I would just select none on that. And then moving down the line, color code is going to be set to 1. Just leave it there. Slot is going to be set to 2. Leave that there. You can enter in your longitude and latitude if you'd like. Your location. The location will show up when you key up, so that's helpful to other people. Description, frequency, URL, all of that you can leave. You don't have to change anything there. All of those options are already set. That's pretty much all you got to do for right now. All right, this is Nick, KN6DAL. Carrying on with our conversation about Dudestar and how to integrate that into your shack if you're just starting out with digital modes. You can always go back and watch this on Northwest Ham Shack on YouTube. If you need some help following along, you can always email or reach out to any of the coordinators in this group or anybody on our Discord group, and we'd be happy to walk you through it too if you're having trouble with it. So in the main page, if you go up to the first tab, you're going to see that the first line right here is mode. And there's many different modes that you can select. You can select DMR, P25. There's some modes here that don't necessarily work right off the bat. One of them would be IAX. That's a way to interface like an all-star node if you wanted to interface that. But for now, we'll just stick to the two most popular, in my opinion, which would be DMR and YSF. So you want to get involved in DMR, don't want to spend any money. We've spent $0 up to this point. All you got to do is select DMR. And then here, this is a host. So there's hosts all around the world. My recommendation, I don't know why. Oh, there we go. My recommendation would just be to pick whichever one is closest to you. If you're on the western side of the United States, it's going to be 31001 or 2, and I think 3 and 4 are more towards the East Coast. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm not 100% sure, but just pick one that's closest to you, and I'm going to let the repeater drop really quick. All right, so now the next thing that you need to do, the module will be grayed out. It's not relevant for this mode that we're working. Now the talk group. So if we go back to our web browser and we go to, I think the easiest way to look this up is Pi-Star. You can go to a website, which is home-pistar.uk. Or I'm sorry, it's just pistar-uk. And you can go to DMR or Brandmeister talk group lists, and it's going to bring up hundreds of basically channels that you can go to and see who's out there on DMR on a digital mode. One of the most popular and a very active group would be Talk Group 91, which is worldwide. There's also Talk Group 93, which is North America. There's a UK one. I mean, the list just goes on, and sometimes there's traffic just for hours and hours and hours. So if you're interested in finding somebody to talk to, some of these towards the top are very popular and very active. So in order to use this application, one of the things that I want to strongly recommend, and I don't know why they said it this way from the beginning, go down. So your volume right here is what you're going to hear. Your mic gain right here is how loud you're going to be to other people. Take that slider and bring her right down into the middle before you do anything, okay? Because the worst thing that you can do is get this all set up, max out. Now, when you buy a brand new radio, is the first thing you do is go and turn the mic gain to the absolute maximum that you can and then see if it works? No, you would never want to do that to a piece of equipment. It's essentially doing the same thing here. You're yelling into the microphone without meaning to. So take that mic gain, turn it down, and then you're going to hit connect. So you're going to watch. You're going to see this green TX button is going to light up once we're connected. And then there's one more thing you have to do on DMR. So with DMR, you have to chunk into a talk group. So you have to do the same thing here, even though it's on a computer. So you're just going to hit that TX button once, and it's going to bring you into the talk group. Now, I don't have the audio playing. I have it disconnected right now, but you could see a call sign come in right there. People were having a conversation, and as they have a conversation, I don't want to rebroadcast the traffic because I don't know that that's necessarily appropriate. But that's essentially how it works. So now we're in Talk Group 9091. If we want to disconnect, we just hit the disconnect button, and we're out of it. I'm going to let the repeater drop. Now, the other thing that you can do is, let's say we want to try a YSF reflector. Here's an example. This is it automatically populated with the last one that I put in, which was mine, USKN6DAL. And you can go through, and the list goes on forever and ever and ever. If you want to go to, say, the Contra Costa repeater system, which we're also linked to right now, by the way, you can go right here and you can hit connect, and it's going to bring you right into that repeater system, and you can hear the feedback coming over, and it's showing my call sign right now. And there's a tiny bit of a delay. You can hear that, but you can obviously see that I'm transmitting. And if somebody else came in and was talking back to me, then you would see their call sign also come up. So I just thought this was a fun way to get into digital modes. It makes it really convenient. It's free. So if you're just getting started with operating radio and you want to find out what's out there digitally before you jump into buying a radio, buying a hotspot, learning how to code plug, program, all of those different things, you can easily do that. You can make it happen without investing all of that money right from the beginning. Now, there are some drawbacks. One of the drawbacks is, portability, as far as this being my main computer in my shack. I can't take it with me. However, as we discussed in the beginning, there's mobile applications. So you can use this on the go on Android. There are ways to do it on iOS, and it's pretty feature packed. So yeah, I'm going to pass this back over to Greg and see if there's any questions out there, or if anybody maybe has anything else that they want to add related to this application or to any other apps that they use as far as utilizing DMR. So thanks for all of your time, and I'll pass it to KN6KIE. This is Nick, KN6DAL.
Hey, everybody. I tried to leave a little pause there. This is KN6KIE. That's a great presentation, guys. I really dig the fact that it's like it's cheap ham. It's a cheap ham way to like get out there. The fact that these things are like free applications, using the stuff you are already paying for. And there's iPhone stuff. I know a lot of this is Android tonight. The Dudestar being a PC thing. But I think it'd be cool to even expand it a little more. Again, thanks for that great presentation. But I mean, I know that there's a couple other ways where you could connect with minimal hardware as well, especially not a radio. But I'd really like to hear from opinions from folks online. I'm going to pause here for a second, and then I'm going to ask for folks to call in. Kilo November 6, Kilo India Echo for ID. Okay. So I know that we've always kind of prided ourselves as being a big HF crew. Well, I mean, we're the 2 meter crew, so it's always kind of about that, but it's always about a bunch of different stuff too. And I know that there's a lot of us who really dig digimodes and stuff like that. And this is just a great way to break in. So I would really love to hear from somebody on the radio. Is there anybody out there that wants to talk about like what they think about this presentation, or the kind of different ways that they're connecting that may be beyond RF? Please come now.
Good job, Nick. I've been following along, and I'm coming in via my computer.
Did we just
totally
have Connor
awesome.
come in there?
Yeah, he did. And see, that's perfect. That's a perfect example. So to be 100% honest, the audio wasn't great, and you're not going to find as good audio as you do with a radio, even into a hotspot. But it worked. He made the connection, and Connor K7CBL was the gentleman that just came back, and he literally did that while we were on the air. Just set it up, got it programmed on the computer. It's that easy to get those connections formed. So yeah, back to you, Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. And yeah, that was great. And you know what? And Connor is like one of the brightest young guys that I know out here too. And we're all thankful to have him here on the 2 Meter Crew. And I mean, there's just a lot of different skills that you're seeing from the folks out here, and it's great to hear. Let's see if there's anybody else out there. Is there anybody on a digital mode connecting? Is there anybody over RF that wants to kind of speak on the different ways they're connecting? Hey, please come now.
Kilo November 6, Bravo Victor X-ray 20 out here in Folsom. I had a question. I'm pretty much analog. I've been kind of contemplating digital mode, but I get on other nets around this area, and a lot of people talk about All-Star. I was wondering if maybe you guys can elaborate on that, and also like if you guys can kind of like cue me in as to what direction to take, as relatively new ham. I've only been doing it for 2 years. Again, I'm strictly analog, and I'm debating on getting into a situation.
Do you want to take it, or you want me to, Greg?
Let's say someone in Utah, or someone in Texas, or someone somewhere else on 2 meters. KN6BVX.
KN6BVX, this is KN6KIE. I believe this is Tony, correct?
Sir, you got it.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Hey, dude, thanks for calling in the show. Most definitely. I think
on,
that's up out.
Okay.
Am I good? Okay. Kilo November 6, Kilo India Echo. I believe like the Auburn crew out there is big on All-Star, and I personally love it as well. If you're actually interested in doing an All-Star setup, there is a software only method of connecting to this, is the easiest. And that's a matter of getting yourself a Raspberry Pi and going to a place like hamvoip.org, I believe is the URL. Really great walkthroughs over there. There's a lot of mature content in terms of like how to seed your SD card or something like that. There's a lot of guys who have done it. I know myself, I've got a couple of these kind of nodes going. I think that's the easiest off the ground, and something like an All-Star node with a Raspberry Pi will probably cost you maybe 40 or 50 bucks. I'm going to pause here for a second. Kilo November 6, Kilo India Echo. Beyond that, if you really want to turn it into RF, there's a couple radios that are really that lend themselves very good to that, with something like going to Repeater Builder and getting one of their USB cards to USB to RF cards. I mean, this can get pretty deep, so I don't want to get too deep into it, but just a software node unto itself could cost you 40 bucks out the gate. And you could get going like that. If you do want to talk to this more, I'm sure that come to our after Zoom party, and we could like connect and we could absolutely talk about it. There's a bunch of guys out here doing it. Thanks again for calling in, KN6BVX, Tony. I do want to open it up for anybody else. Is there anybody else out there on RF or digital that want to talk about the way they're connecting and what they think is cool? Please come now.
Hey there, Greg and Group, RF on BVR. Kilo November 6, Bravo X-ray, Michael from Carmichael. Good evening.
Make him tell you about something.
Michael from Carmichael. Hey, thank you for coming by. I know your call sign came in a little scratchy, but I think we all know you, man. Thanks for coming by again. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience with digital and how the kind of modes you like to connect with?
going to probably keep the low-to-mid price investments because I think I like to go to HF when I get my general future and save up more lunch money in the process. And I don't, the beautiful thing about amateur radio is that you can spend a lot of money or spend a lot of time or just go small or go big. And I think for me, I like to consider a little bit of HF, like the 991A in the future or similar Shack in the Box. Keep it mid-price, modest. I'm not going to show anything big and fancy. As far as antenna, let me drop. Probably something like an end-fed wire for my modest property. No HOA, thankfully, but still, you can only do so much for the property I have with overhead wires. So that's for me. And as far as digital, I do have Echolink on my Android phone, plus my new MT70DR, so I can connect it with this Coco Fusion system. But as far as anything else, probably going to be sticking with analog FM, YSF, Echolink phone, and HF down the road. So that's the beautiful thing about the hobby, Greg, and the rest. Diversity of choice, and how much you want to spend or how much time you got. Back to you, a great presentation over again, 6BXX.
KN6DAL. Real quick, I just want to note something that came in on the chat. Ben announced that the N6CMB Coco Fusion repeater is officially back online tonight after Chris's passing, so that's awesome. His ears are on, and we're so grateful for everything that he provided for the anti-net. So just wanted to point that out on the air, and I'll pass it back to you, Greg. KN6DAL.
KN6DAL, KN6KIE. Actually, that's awesome news. Awesome news. And this is totally off kind of kilter here, but my sister lives in Rhode Island, and I know Chris went back there for his funeral, and he's being buried over there. And my sister, being a nurse, worked with his brother's wife and knows his brother out there in town. She lives in Middletown, Rhode Island. It just seems like such a small world. But I want to get back to this KN6BAX, KN6KIE. Thanks for calling in and giving us your views on that sort of thing. I would challenge you that Digimodes are even cheaper than HF, but Justin's throwing something up there on the video. These things can be, even without hardware, cheaper. But let's go back out onto the radio, because the whole point of this is to really speak to those guys out there too, like us, who love it like us. I'm going to pause for a second. KN6KIE. Let's see if there's anybody else out there on a Digimode or over RF. We want to hear from you guys. We do this because we love hanging out. So somebody please come on in and tell us about your experiences. Tell us if you've got anything else that sounds cool too. Come now.
KC8 FCQ. I'm coming in via Freestar via TGIF on a TYT 380 and MMDVM hotspot.
That sounds awesome. Can you give me your call sign one more time, if you don't mind?
Sure, it's KC8FCQ, Kilo Charlie 8, Frank Charlie Quebec, or Foxtrot Charlie Quebec.
Sounds
Name
good.
here is Tom.
Got you that time. KC8FCQ. This is KN6KIE. Thanks for calling in, man. And I understand you're coming in, Tom, from a digital mode. What do you think about the modes? I mean, going from RF to digital and coming in how you are. Do you want to kind of let our listeners know as to how you set yourself up?
Sure. Yeah, I purchased a TYT radio, TYT 380, fairly inexpensive radio. It's less than $100. And then I bought the hotspot, the DMR hotspot, and that was only like, I think you mentioned like $40, somewhere in that range. And I set it up. I watched a few videos online, and I had it going in a few hours. And I got to tell you, I enjoy the heck out of this. And I'm not, you know, I was just sitting here monitoring the Freestar, which is mainly in Europe, the UK, and Australia and New Zealand. And I heard your show on there, so I thought, yeah, I'll check in. I really enjoy the heck out of it, and it's a different world, that's for sure. But the communications tend to be crystal clear. KC8 FCQ.
KC8 FCQ. Actually, you sound awesome, man. And that's a great call out to the Freestar guys. We know those guys. They're good friends of ours as well. I know that we've hosted them and they've hosted us too. So we absolutely love to be associated with those cats. But it sounds great. You know, this is a great example of a low startup into digital modes. I know I've built myself a couple of these Pi stars myself, trying to make sure I've got D-Star and DMR and YSF all flowing at the same time. It becomes another problem when you have them all sitting next to each other, but I think that's another show altogether. But you know, Tom, thanks for calling in and visiting us. Check us out on the YouTube. We've got a Discord too. We'd love to see you over there as well. I'm going to open it up for a couple more calls here. This is Kilo November 6, Kilo India Echo, and I'm going to let this drop for a second. All right. So that's great to hear from Tom there. I'd love to hear from anybody else too, especially I'd love to hear from digital modes. RF modes are great. But you know, this being kind of the subject of us getting into it like that, I'd love to hear from somebody else. So if there's anybody else out there who wants to speak on their experiences here, please come now. All right, then. Well, you know what? I'm going to pass this on to somebody in the crew here because we've got uh, the Tony Hawk of radio over here. I know he's been dabbling in some digital modes, and I know he also I know he's a little hesitant. He went straight amateur. This guy is crazy smart. Um, and I know he does some FT8, but I know he does some digital modes, and I want to hear about his experiences. I'm going to pass it over here to W6AEF.
All right. Thanks, Greg. Can you guys hear me? Got my earpiece in. We're good? All right. W6AEF. Yeah, I've been dabbling a little bit. I've relocated my office, my shack to a little drawer here in the garage. So I've got the FT891 over here. I've got the 3D right here. I've got the Radiodity down there, so we can get a little DMR and fusion going on at the same time. So I'm not cross-pollinating the Pi-Star and the Open Spot 2. That created a problem earlier, but yeah, running digital and running HF, and I've got the ID 5100 over here. So the command center is. I've got a lot of motivation on Discord, seeing everybody's shack photos and stuff. But I do enjoy the digital. I don't, you know, for me and antennas and things sticking out everywhere, the connectivity and ease of use for digital is really nice. And so I enjoy that. I also enjoy the being able to go to different rooms and different places to connect with folks around the world. So that is super intriguing, and it's simple and easy. So from a digital perspective, I'm all in. I've enjoyed it quite a bit. So that's all I got for you, W6AF. Back to my wings back here.
Well, this KN6KIE. Thanks there, Aaron, Mr. W6AF. He's really shy, and he doesn't just want to talk about that sort of stuff because he's shoving Yeah, hot wings in his face. That's all great though. Thank you. Thanks, Aaron, for your perspective on that. I'm going to open it back out to the folks online. Is there anybody out there who wants to kind of speak on, actually the presentation tonight, the Dudestar, um, those modes? Honestly, I think they're just such an awesome way to get into the into the habit of this. With the overhead that you've already got, already got your computer, that sort of thing. So I'm really into those sort of things. Let's hear from anybody out there online. Please come now. All right, it sounds like a pile up there. Let's just take these guys one at a time here. Okay, so I think that we might get in a little stale online. I think we should probably get close to opening up the Zoom meeting, and let's see if some folks want to jump on in. Dead air there. I think we should give it a shot. Let me hand it over to Nick and hear our master of ceremony. Let's see what Nick's got to say about this.
This is Nick KN60AL. Yeah, I've got Zoom chat opened up in the comments on YouTube. If anybody wants to join in, we'll have the waiting room set up, and we'll be opening it up here in just a minute. If there's any last calls that want to come in before we shut her down, take it away. All right, nothing being heard. We're going to leave the stream up for a little bit. We'll be moving over to Zoom. Give all these repeaters a chance to breathe after hearing me and Justin yap for a while. Anybody that wants to jump in is welcome. And a big thanks to Greg for stepping up and hosting it tonight. And thank you, Justin, for taking the time to show everybody how to get their DMR ID set up. And hopefully this helps somebody out there in getting involved in digital modes to see if you like it. See if it's something that interests you and maybe pushes you towards investigating getting a radio and getting some other creature comforts for that part of the hobby. So if you have any other questions or you want to jump in and say hi and discuss it further, you're welcome to join our Zoom chat tonight. And if not, we will see everybody next week. We're going to shut her down and relinquish the repeaters. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
We need that link to your video background. You got to put that out there.
I know.
I'll post it, dude. I'll post it.
Did you guys see my comment that I made in chat?
No.
You can listen to all of the. You can run multiple.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm running.
That's dope, dude. That is
3
awesome.
instances. There's only one issue with it, and it's when it comes to DMR and like P25, for example. I'm listening to the DMR talk group as well as Coco Fusion, and then when I open up
Connor,
another,
is that your air conditioner I hear, or your PC spinning up, dude?
my AC, yeah, it's
Okay.
not my PC, my AC. Sorry, yeah, it's my air conditioner. But like for example, I have P25 open to Mountain West 31062, and when I open up a new instance to go onto a DMR talk group, and I change the talk group number, it actually, when I was testing it, you can't run DMR and P25 at the same time, but you can run. So basically, if the talk group box is grayed out below the mode or the module or whatever it's called, above all the faders, if that's grayed out, you can run multiple, but you only can have one selectable talk group, like DMR or whatever. From what I'm looking at here, because once you key up on one of them, it dumps the other program. It just disconnects you. So you can only monitor.
Their code is too alike. I mean, DMR's based off of P22, isn't it? I would imagine that those things running off the same machines.
No, they're not. Not exactly. Because I mean,
they're definitely forked. But there's some major parts of it, just like any kind of VoIP application. It's like trying regular All-Star versus ham VoIP. they don't play well together because they run some of the same code and they're just forked off crazy.
It's more of what do you call it? Like let me test this here really quick. I'm gonna come up on both Coco Fusion and on my, oh boy, I'm talking on RF and over this. Hold on 1 second here. K7 CBL testing. Can you guys hear me over?
I don't have anything
Coco
linked
Fusion?
anymore, Connor.
Oh.
I don't hear you on VVR, dude.
No, I terminated
me?
the link.
I
Sorry.
had you on Fusion.
Do you want me to reconnect
Okay.
it?
So no, it's all good. So what I was testing is I just talked on P25. I heard myself on P25, and I also have YSF open, and I was talking on both I was talking at the same time on P25 and YSF. Those aren't linked together. So you can actually run multiple instances, transmitting, receiving at the same time, whatever, and they'll work. Because if I transmit on,
What if you use a different designator for your DMR ID? What if you do a
You
5?
can't.
It won't let you change
you
it.
can't. Okay, so but then the second you reboot the software, open a new instance of it, that's your new ID, like your new designator. Like, does that make sense? Because right now, if you close it and reopen it, it's what, like mine is 6 personally.
It's in VMware Workstation, so they're running on 2 separate machines, man.
That's so overkill. I mean,
you gotta.
I have like all of my mine used up, and like half of my second DMR ID used up on stuff everywhere.
yeah,
Actually,
I
you
know.
know, you
Here,
could get an
looking-
AWS developer account for free, pretty much, dude.
That's so
Throw
cheeky.
one
Here,
over
look in
there,
chat.
huh?
If you click on that picture, it'll open it up on your browser and show you what I'm looking at here, what I'm dealing with. So, I heard myself through you, Nick. That
I'm gonna
sounded like
put this
hot
on YouTube
garbage.
so you can see it.
Okay, yeah. So that sounded like hot garbage when I came in. Just
Lukewarm, but
to
yeah.
listen. Yeah.
Lukewarm
Do you think it was because my gain was too high, or?
It could have been. You know, to be honest, I've noticed this playing with this application on phones and on the computer and stuff. The gain operates differently on every different piece of hardware, and it's finicky. But I can tell you that if you max the gain out and start talking into it, it is like it's bad. It's really bad to the people that are listening. And you're almost always going to be coming in the first time saying, "How's my audio doing?" You know, and it's like,
Yeah.
Oh, God.
When you came in, did you come in via the Geeks DMR or did you come in via YSF?
Say that again.
So when your audio
thinking,
was bad,
Brandon.
was that geek? Which way did
Oh,
you
we got
come in?
Brandon showing up.
I think I was on Coco Fusion, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I came in via DMR. Why is there a massive difference?
Well,
There's a
it could
couple different ways to get in, dude.
because if you came in through like Mike, if VVR's having any transmit issues or something like that, or if he's having issues into it, you could sound bad coming into it, right? If it was pure RF, actually, the way that's linked. If you were going straight
Gotcha.
into Fusion, right, that might have been... Because when I just heard you right now on Fusion,
Hey,
you
Mike.
sounded fine.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess maybe I was on DMR, but I also had my my mic gain set at 50%, so I might just turn it down. So and another thing, yeah, Droidstar, or what is it?
Dudestar.
What is it? No, for the phone. Hold on. Yeah, Droidstar. On the phone, to get it through test flight, it's not difficult. But it is like you have to put test flight on, and if you don't really know, there's I think like 2 good ones I saw out there.
Are you talking
So-
about for iPhone?
Yeah, for iPhone.
Okay.
Because I think it requires you to do something that's a little bit people would see as a bit sketchy, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember the whole process, but I know.
I'm gonna
like,
post a
what
link
is
in
considered-
YouTube in just a
Yeah.
second on the instructional that Chris 2E0UKH put on.
That's the one I followed. Because some of those ones, like, they have you, like, oh, click this, go to this website, and then the iPhone pops up and says, do you want to trust this or something? And, you know, some people, especially this hobby, we kind of know the age bracket. They're going to be like, oh, I don't want to get hacked or whatever, so they don't really want to do something, or they're not so willing to click through it. So, yeah, that definitely is it can be a bit sketchy. But on Android, I mean, as far as I know, you just tap a few buttons and it's in, right? And you just set it up.
Yeah, Android, it's super simple. You go to the Play Store, look up Droidstar, download it. The mapping of the pages is identical pretty much.
Okay.
I think the gain is in the settings tab as opposed to on the main page, but it works. It works exactly the same, and the functionality of it is just as good. In fact, I've got my IAX client linked through Dudestar. I was using IAX RPT, the app
what
for.
Is that?
That's a application. It's basically a phone client to link to your All-Star node, so you can operate it without a radio. But it's DV Switch Mobile for Android. If you wanted to use that, and the functionality of it's there, but you can do the same thing through Droidstar pretty much, and then it's all on one application. So like I could link to digitally to my All-Star node directly, and then I can link that out to any DMR YSF reflector that I want, or if I wanted to link back to my YSF reflector, I could do it that way too.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I wish some of the developers of these apps, I know it's a pain in the butt, but would actually take the time to do it for iOS as well. Make it, instead of requiring test flight app for iOS and having all the extra steps and stuff like that. I mean,
think that's the hard part though with the iOS store though, is like having to meet all the legal obligations that they have with it. That's why it's such a secure store, but it takes a lot of work. And in a hobby, if you're just kind of hacking some code together.
Yeah, but when it comes to a client like this, where I mean, I know probably a lot of people are using it on the test flight app on iOS. It would be nice to see the initiative being taken, especially if they have the time to constantly update their apps. I'm sure they have time to work on it, in the back side of things and, go through with it. It's just really making a front, right? I mean, making everything kind of look decent and actually work. So, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. Like with test flight on iOS, I'll tell you this much. The first time I got on it and I was talking and I kept seeing Bobby Lee's ID pop up on my phone, responding back to me, and I couldn't hear him, and I was like, you have no audio. And then I had to turn my ringer on my phone, and then it actually started playing the audio out, and I was like, oh, that's smart. They should have added that in there. But yeah, it'd just be nice to see them doing some more native stuff. So, oh well.
Michael, what's happening? Brandon, good to see you. There you go. There you go. Unmute yourself, man. How you doing?
Doing all right. I did listen. I was able to listen to the Mount Diablo YSF repair, but I wasn't able to transmit on it, but I could listen. So it's still a learning curve with YSF, but slowly but surely I'll get the wing of it. And that's probably about the only really digital radio format I'm gonna stick with in terms of just time and extra money to spend. So I just kind of keep the focus on that. I do eventually want to focus on HF stuff.
So what antenna did you come into MDD with? Were you on the built-in, or were you on your house antenna?
Well, I've got this MFJ ground plane I put as my indoor backup antenna since my old ground plane. That was my first base antenna, broke a while back. But I received quite well with no digital garbling, but just transmitting didn't quite cut it. But at least I could receive it. At least it works. So I just have to kind of.
You actually made it in, but if you were out, I bet you if that antenna was outside, or I think you have another antenna. If you were to transfer that out, I bet you'd make it in just fine.
I probably would. I decided not to. Probably figure out how to jimmy it around a little bit. I think down the road, if I want to get more into the YSF base, probably 991A, or maybe want to spend extra money, is maybe get the Yaesu dual band, but that may be down the road. Just gonna stretch my dollars where I can. And besides, I got a supportive XYL anyway, and she's my CFO, so we work together.
You got to earn the spousal approval units. You know how it is. It takes time, but you know what? you're coming in fine, and you know, having do you use a hotspot or no? Or are you just coming in through RF when you're
No,
in the
RF
hotspot?
only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's not
I
just.
hear the.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead, Michael. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's not just from. It's just money, but also, I think for me, my tech savviness is not as strong as, let's say, you or Nick or Greg. I think I'm a little slower in figuring things out. I mean, I can get by.
I'm as slow as a slug, man. Don't feel bad.
Yeah. So don't.
You got
boast too much.
extra, Nick.
They
It's
gotta-
less than 2 years. You got an extra ticket, man.
I
They
know,
gotta
right?
beat me.
Smoking.
They gotta beat me to get me to learn stuff around here.
It's the extra ticket because we couldn't
You got
figure
an
out
extra,
where we couldn't figure out the band plan, and so to keep us from getting in trouble. That's the whole thing. But you know, you bring up a good point, Michael. Right? So, I hear Greg going into the All-Star nodes, and you know, Nick is building this stuff like that. For me, it's very confusing very quickly. So for me, it's the fusion, it's the programming, the thing. You get the hotspot, and I'm just on, or you're connecting to MDD through a good, an antenna. And for me, that's kind of been my limit, because you started going down these different, holes. I'm like, my head popped off. I'm like, oh my God, I got to call a friend. I'll call Greg, like, what's going on? Wait, what is this? Or Mike the Geek, like, I have no idea. So you just slowly keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like you're doing, man. And that
It's the
radio
KISS
sounds great when I've got
system,
you on
right?
RF. Yeah.
There we go. Keep it simply simple. I like that. There you go. But I think for me, it's not so much the technical aspect of it, but also just to be able to communicate. And also, like I said, the main thing I want to do is get more involved with community service. And I'm hoping that the California National Marathon, which I hold from Folsom to Sacramento, will be back up and running this fall, and I'll be able to get on and help out.
Hey, Mike, I wanted to ask you a question, dude. Are you familiar with the Elks Club out there in Carmichael?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go there on the 30th.
Okay, I saw that thing. Actually, I kind of stumbled on it because I was looking for an HF amp on Craigslist. I'm like just kind of using my resources, and I saw that they were having a ham, like a ham swap out there.
Yeah,
and
you don't need an amp right now. No amp for you. No
Yeah,
amp
he
for
does.
you.
Oh,
Wait,
dude,
wait,
I need
wait,
more
Greg.
people to hear me mess up, dude.
Hey,
Go
Greg.
listen to
get-
Kellen. Kellen will tell you to get the amp and more power and the 8,000 elements of fury.
Dude, you know what? I can't even compete with his 13 fingers of fury, dude, off the back
Hey,
of his truck. But
Greg, did you see what I
I
told
want
you?
to know, dude. I want to know how to do this. But I did want to ask. But like Michael, actually, you know what? I would totally be going, but it's my wife's birthday that weekend, and I have no permission. The CEO says I am hanging out with her that weekend, but I would
That's
be
okay.
totally down with it.
Well, here's the thing for me. Field day is the same weekend as my anniversary, so it's like anniversary first.
Yeah.
Now,
you gotta make those choices, dude.
Well, I might be able to step in a little bit. Joel, our club president, AI6TG of North Hills Club, usually sets up field day at the Davis Ranch produce stand out off of, if you're familiar with the area between Jackson and Sacramento, Slough House.
I'm not super familiar out there, but I know, I know how to get where I'm going when I need to.
So I might, if my wife and I do a little day drive up there, I might stop by, or maybe come back the next day and help drop things off, or finish, tear it down, I guess you might say. But as far as
at least at the very least, I hope we'd hear you, man. I mean,
I
I'll
will.
be spitting 20 meters and stuff like that. If I could get over the tall burritos antennas that he'll be bringing.
Yeah,
I don't know if I will, though. That dude's crazy.
Well, down the road, that'll be HF territory. Maybe another couple of years, we'll see. But if there's any simplex field day stuff, I'll keep my ears on for sure. So. Oh, by the way, I heard there's something on the 29th. Derek posted something about a simplex thing on the 29th. Anyone know about that?
I think Jason and the YouTube crew, right? They're going to be having something like that going on as well.
Okay.
That is the
Fortunately,
YouTubers
I'm out on
Ham
that one, too.
Fest on the 29th. That's what it is. The YouTubers Ham Fest.
It's online.
Yeah.
But anyway, for those guys who lived a little too far up to Sacramento, it is the Elks Lodge over on Cypress near Manzanita in Carmichael. Again, it'll be from 7 to 1 o'clock. I usually go to church, but hey, I'll be there early and I won't miss it. So
The Church of Radio, my friend. The Church of Radio. You can talk to God that way too, dude.
Yeah.
He's up in the troposphere anyways, man. So
Wait, you're going to come up with a new digital mode called Godstar now?
Oh, I got one better. I got one better. So I came home one night after getting my shortwave radio, my first little portable one. And I came in the front door. My mom's sitting there, and I was like, man, all I can hear is these Christian shortwave stations. She goes, my mom, no interest in ham radio, no interest in any radio. Goes, well, it's because they got the power of God behind their transmitters. And I just started dying. It was some of the fun. It was the funniest thing I think I've heard. I've used it every time since. They've got the power of God behind their transmitters. It's like, oh
That's
man.
awesome.
I mean, some of them are across the U.S., right, and they're not even pointed westbound. And I hear them stronger than like WWV, you know,
Yeah,
or
you're
even
right.
stations that are pointed at the western U.S. area. So it's like,
We should
like,
totally make an app called Falling Star and just have it just be junk and not work.
just always down.
Nick, hey, Nick, you want my code? You want my code?
Yeah, we'll get we'll get
And we'll
behind
charge
it.
and we'll charge a
and
little
just
bit
promote
like
it.
every month too, so that we can make
Like
some cash.
99 cents a month, no,
Yeah.
98 cents, just to make it filthy, just to
For
make it
something
filthy.
that never
Yeah,
connects.
it's like
No,
$8.
all you hear is like, all you hear is dudes in the weeds, dude. Like,
Yeah,
you're like, is that
it's
my
just-
head telling me that? Is
Yeah,
that
we-
in my head, or am I hearing that dude out there?
All we stream is scratchy repeaters. That's it. Just scratchy, scratchy repeaters. Justin, it looks like you got. Is that an iPhone?
No,
Oh.
this.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, this is a great iPhone. Yeah,
I can barely see it.
Hello?
Your big hands make it look tiny.
Oh yeah, huge hands.
That's an iPhone Max, dude. That's an
So-
iPhone Max right there.
Is that an iPhone 30 or what is that?
This is a freaking Kindle Fire 10, right? So it's hacked so you can use the Google Play Store. But at 8 o'clock, I went to that store. I downloaded the app, and by 8:06, I was keyed into the Fusion repeater. Now I have a DMR ID, but the point is, it really is that simple with that Droidstar app. And it's back to this concept of this is like the cheapest tablet you can get if you had to buy something brand new.
Isn't it like $40 on Amazon?
You find the right sale on them, they're 30,
Yeah.
right? Like that's exactly the point, you know. I mean, I kind of wonder if you can hack an Echo like show and like, be like Alexa, you know.
Yeah.
You
Alexa,
can
hook me
you
up
can
to
set
the
up
33.
You can, you can actually. If it was so broadcast. I don't think, I'm not gonna say the whole thing, but you guys know what I'm gonna say. I
His
know
room will
that
go
you can
blank.
do tune. Yeah. All you see is just bye bye.
Yeah, just everything.
But if you actually do it properly, you can listen to TuneIn, which there's some repeaters that are actually on TuneIn. A lot more of public safety scanner type stuff for sure. And you can have it come on and play that stuff. Broadcastify, I wish. But
little
the
guy?
problem with
Oh, you guys say
the
no.
problem with
What's up, buddy?
Broadcastify is it
You're
the
on YouTube.
ads, right? So with ads, you're not able to actually they won't play anything that's advertised. That's why on TuneIn there's nothing. So if you have a stream
Do
on
they do-
TuneIn,
Do they do
What's that?
Broadcastify? Do they do Broadcastify? Because I think FAK's streaming
Yeah.
that station. I didn't. see
yeah,
it,
that's
'cause
what
it's
I
not-
was just saying.
I'm doing
The
it.
Amazon devices, you can't say the wake word of your device, whatever it is, right? You can't say that and say play, K6POU, the 3.3 or whatever. You can't say that from Broadcastify. It won't know what it's looking for. But if it was on TuneIn, like I was saying, a lot of some of the scanner type stuff is on TuneIn. You definitely can listen to it. But the only problem with some of those Amazon devices out there is that you only have about, I think it's 57 minutes, and then it automatically stops playing unless you're listening to Prime Music and you have a Prime account.
Man, it's probably
So-
a good thing that I don't have like 100,000 subscribers or something, because I'm the one that's dumb enough I would find a way to say Alexa every 4 minutes during the anti-net.
I know.
And just
Yeah.
ruin lives. I mean, it'd probably shut down the entire grid in the
I heard
west
you
coast
could
of the
get
United States.
Samuel L.
Turn off all my
Jackson
lights.
to actually speak back to you on your Amazon device.
So I have a thing that I built with Amazon for ham radio. I actually can do QRZ lookups. It'll read out your name and your address.
That's cool. Hey, Kellen,
So-
is your kid still there? Did he leave the show?
No, he went told him to go ride some scooters.
Oh, okay. I was gonna give him a chance to say hi, see if he wanted to jump in. He looked a little shy.
Hey.
What's his name?
Oh yeah, he probably wouldn't have done that.
Oh. Say it
Hey,
again.
let's hear from Brandon over there. Brandon's a little quiet over there.
I'm just listening to you guys. You're doing good.
What's your, Brandon, I don't know if we've spoke before too much, but do you do digital, man? Did I miss like a whole conversation?
I was about to do some digital, and then Servando got all of his HF stuff. So then I started my general and did that direction instead.
Oh, so you followed Servando down the hole.
Yeah,
Servando's
so I'm
like
about to.
he's a crazy nut, dude. Following him is hard, dude.
So I'm
He's
saving
on
up
to
for my
something-
705 and then figure out an antenna from there.
Oh, you were the one talking
you
about how everybody was telling you to not buy a QRP radio.
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, forget them. Just do what you want. Spend your money the way you want.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
those guys. I
Go-
do QRP at 100 watts though, so
Yeah. A 10. What does that radio do? 10 watts on a separate power source.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you could get an amplifier that 10 watts would drive 100. So you're, whatever. If you want to get something that's super portable, do it. I actually started kind of eyeing that radio because, if it had an internal tuner, I'd probably be all over it right now. To be honest.
Which radio?
But, the ICOM 705.
Oh, so have you
10
seen
watt radio. That's a dope radio, man. I mean,
have
nice.
you seen
super nice.
All mode.
Eight-
Everything.
HRCC put out a video, a couple of videos where I've noticed it, and he's kind of talked about it briefly. It's the Zygu, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a 100 watt portable amp, and it's also got a built-in tuner, as well as ICOM came out with the 705H or something like that. It's an actual tuner for the 705. It just doesn't
Right.
have an internal one. But
Yeah, but it's like
you
bigger.
can get it.
It's physically like bigger
Yeah.
than the radio itself. So the whole
Oh,
idea
you're talking
is-
about like a built-in. Yeah.
the portability factor of it is what's super
Yeah.
convenient. But and to be honest, you don't really need a tuner. I mean, most of every
Good antenna.
every radio every antenna that I take up into the hills is resonant. So it's it's going to work on most of the bands that you're making it for anyway. So you don't really need it. But it'd be
His
nice to have
DIL
if you
is
were.
perfect.
What's
He's
that?
perfect. I said, because you're
Perfect.
perfect.
You
dude.
got your
Every
SWR
antenna
tape on.
every antenna he
three.
blesses is
A
like
can of
boom,
SWR spray.
40
Justin, are you out of here?
meters, always.
No, Aaron is.
Oh, see you later, Aaron. Bye.
Hey,
He left.
Greg, you were joking about QRP at 100 watts. Did you see what I mentioned you in the memes channel there?
Yeah, I saw. I saw
QRP
it.
meant absolute power, minimum of 1 kilowatt.
I did see it, dude. I've been super busy, man. The past 2 weeks have been crazy for me, man.
I don't know.
And it's just getting crazier these days. So
Kellen
It
was
doesn't
pumping
matter
some
what
power
it
the
is.
other night, man. I could hear you really well, but you could not hear me.
Couldn't hear
Kellen,
squat. I could barely hear somebody.
Your internet is just taking a
but
big old
that-
dump right now, bud.
Nothing, audible.
That's because his HF is
It
good.
was
So
very
his
low.
HF
funny,
is good.
Sorry,
it's
I don't
funny
speak
that
high
Kelly's
latency.
internet is
Yeah.
garbage.
You can have good
Kellen's
internet, or
internet
you
is
can have good
garbage,
HF.
but his HF is
Yeah.
like the bomb, dude.
Yeah, he's
I
got to
can't-
ride
nobody can
he's
hear
got to
me
ride an
in
electric
town.
bicycle to get the modem to power up, but he can
Yeah.
spin that beam anywhere.
Squirrel
he wants.
power.
No, dude.
The same
He's
battery
got a
for the
gas
bike
powered
does my
motor he
radio.
built, dude. He's got an electric powered motor that he's built or something. by
Dude,
hand.
his little battery has got more power than I think my house has. So, But back to this concept that it's about antenna and location. End of the day, it doesn't matter how much power
is
you
not
throw
that
at it. The best operations are going to be based on, like you said, resonant antennas and location. That makes all the difference. Mountain topping, all that has been proof of it. So,
Yeah.
enjoy it.
That's the
Actually,
thing. I mean,
Kellen's location right there is pretty cool. He sees like the tower, dude, Tower 20 up there. I think if there was like motion sensors on that thing, it would be Kellen who could see it just walking out into his driveway, be like, "Oh, somebody's up there, dude. Somebody's up there from there."
Human security
That's what we need is a
system.
big spotlight to show the the Batman logo.
Yeah, exactly,
Someone's in
dude.
my house.
Right? The bat signal goes on, dude.
Hey, has anybody here taken their last trip to HRO Oakland? Like in the last, yeah. So I went in there Monday. I wasn't buying anything. I was just in there to look around. I've never been in there. I've only done curbside because of COVID. I went in there and I was like, man, they are.
Dude, that
I
place
hope
is
they're.
dope. You gotta go inside, dude. And
I
turn
did.
dials and press buttons and shit.
That they don't have any of their display models out. They've got like only a couple of portables in there, and I asked them, "Oh, when are you guys moving out?" "Oh, we close up doors this Saturday." Speaking, the 15th of like this month.
Really?
So that's why I was asking. Yeah, if you want to make your trip, you have Thursday and Friday, and Saturday it's their last day.
That's cool,
And
man.
I'm sure.
I grew up in the ghettos of Oakland, dude. I don't need to see it again, man. I've been there.
Yeah, so I went in there and I was like,
time over there, dude. I don't gotta go there.
But Michael, they're
I-
opening up almost immediately in Sacramento, so don't
Yeah,
waste
no,
your
it's-
time with the trip. You know,
Just
like that's.
now, maybe
But
10
yeah,
minutes
they're
from
just
my house.
busting all
I
their
know-
parts
Here-
over.
I'll tell you one thing, Michael, is that yeah, it's in my opinion, it's not even worth the trip. It would be like
No, I
if you were to go there because you couldn't find an adapter anywhere on the internet and it said they had it in stock, sure, if you
wait the
really
3
need
days?
something.
Wait
Yeah,
the 3
yeah,
days?
wait the 3 days. It was pretty sad to walk in there. I've never been in there, but I've heard some pretty good stories, like all the display radios, they had HF set up in there and everything like that. And I kind of expected them to already have that stuff boxed up and, gone or whatever. But I looked in their back storeroom and it's completely empty. Like
Yeah,
there's
it's all in
no
Sacramento.
boxes.
I went
Yeah,
there. I did
and
go there-
it was
I did
just
go there- Go ahead.
I was
did
just
go
say
there-
it was
Go ahead.
oh.
Go ahead and finish.
It was
that.
just
All right.
okay. Yeah, it was pretty sad to see that was like 6 times. It was pretty sad to see it. And it's just I was surprised there was no sales either. I went in there and you would expect them to have like a closing out sale or something like that, or like a
Too much
goodbye
money,
sale.
dude.
Yeah, they were just like, nope. I was like, okay, whatever. Spent my 20 bucks. a
Who's their
month.
competition? They got
Going
no
there giving away
competition,
a
dude.
car instead of giving away a radio.
Yeah,
Well,
they're giving away a car.
They
instead
don't
of
need to
radio.
give anything away because they're just moving location, right? So they're probably saving on rent and
Oh yeah,
potential
totally.
break-ins.
Way
right? Like,
cheaper, dude. Way cheaper, and
It
they
is.
don't
It
have to
is.
worry about
They got
nobody
that-
trying to rob them, dude.
The contest they're running.
That play that I've been there once a couple
They're
years.
doing like a
year
contest
and a
on
half
their
ago.
website, and they're giving away a car. The radio company.
I'd rather give away a radio.
I think they really need to open like a Zales or something right next door, dude.
They're
Then I
giving
made it.
away a Chevy something. Was it not a Chevy? I don't know. Whatever it was. They're giving away a whole
thought it was a
car.
Civic.
It's like, why not give
it looks
away
like-
100 IC 705s or whatever? Give away a bunch of radios
Hell
instead.
yeah,
It's
rather
kind of
than
funny.
a car. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right, dude.
Yeah.
Even a bunch of HTs, dude. I mean,
There you
some
go.
quality
Because
HTs.
100 705s is worth more than any car they could ever give away.
Is
Eh.
it? How much are those things?
Like
Well,
1,300 bucks or something.
Well, their car
No,
is
if-
like 40 grand.
Yeah,
Dude,
so
if,
that's
if they gave away a bunch
40%
of
of
75,
120
like
grand.
Yaesu 75 HTs or something, dude. Those things are a couple $100 a piece.
Yeah.
Fucking handed. Oh, pardon my French.
3
but hand a
DRs.
couple.
Are they going to at
Well,
least put a
3
cool
Rs are
radio
pretty-
in the car? That
I
would be
would
neat.
think that it's a better deal with the 70D or whatever it's called, dude. I've
Or
got my
the,
3D. I got my 3DR, and as much as I love that radio, I think that it would have been better money for the cheaper version. I understand that they're a little louder, that sort of thing. But even just handing a ton of those away would be better.
I've got a
We
like
could
a-
get like Kellen to get on a digital mode like that.
I've got a question since we still are live on YouTube. Let's see, we have tens of viewers. So in the chat, if anybody's interested, I did have an idea for a topic, it would be actually learning the basics of a nano VNA and stuff like that. And yes, there's other videos out there and stuff like that, but some of them don't go. You either get the videos that are really cut and dry, and it's like, oh, I've already calibrated it or whatever, and they don't show you the calibration steps, or you have the videos that are an hour long just to learn how to, do insertion loss, see the insertion loss of something, or check the SWR. So if anybody would be interested in it, it'd be cool to see if any of our viewers right now on YouTube
I think that'd be a great
kind of
idea.
give
I
us
can
an
help put it together.
A-okay.
Yeah, we're good at dumbing it down.
I
We could
just got this.
we
I
just
got
brush
this
over the
bad boy
details
other
and
day.
ignore the important spots, and then we're pretty much ready to go for any kind of presentation.
Yeah, and one thing about nano VNAs is that's our style, 5 minutes before, but with nano VNAs,
we're just here
it's
to
kinda,
get your beak wet, dude. We're not here to like teach you at all. Just
Yeah.
enough to get your beak wet, so you're like, damn, I got to get into that.
we give you false information to go spread. No. But no, I think that would actually be a good thing. I don't see anybody saying it in chat, but I guess, yeah, if it sounds like somebody else has interest in it, I have no problem walking through it since I do it kind of pseudo-professionally. So, and there's also a good thing is to give some links out, because there's certain ones on like Amazon that, you can get prime shipping, except they don't show up at the top of the list, and you get the one that comes from, wherever, China, and it takes like 6 months to show up at your house. And a couple other variants too, because I have the one with N connectors, since that's everything in the commercial biz. And that one's great even for ham use. You can just
we should
adapters.
how many folks got those nano VNAs? We should do like a little head to head. But honestly, I just got this bad boy for $100 on eBay, dude.
What
And
are those?
I can't complain
And what is
about
that?
this one. This one's the MFJ 223. It shoots NATO rounds too, man.
Oh
it's
boy!
awesome.
But is it just a SW? Excuse me, SWR. Yeah, it says antenna analyzer, right? Because the nano VNA does. You can measure like insertion loss and.
This does it all, dude. Vector impedance analyzer. It's the same thing. It's just the MFJ one.
Oh, it just looked weird to me because it doesn't have
this
two
one
connectors.
just comes at like $300 from them, but I caught it on eBay and nobody bid against me for $100, dude. I was like super psyched. I was like surprised. I didn't even have the money for it. I just spent a bunch of money on other garbage or other, not other garbage, excuse me, other ham gear. And then I'm like, I'm just going to put $100. They're asking 99. There's 10 viewers. Nobody came up on it. I'm like, oh my God, I got it. I did have to buy the battery for it. So $120 invested, dude. This thing's good up to 60 megahertz. So this is my whole HF for my my screwdriver antenna that I got, dude.
My thing about antenna analyzers, and I was looking at like the Rig Expert, for example, like that's really cool if you're just looking for SWR or like a really simple thing. But with the nano VNAs, like I said it before, but like insertion loss, you put one probe, you put your transmitting probe at the end of your coax, and you get another probe and you put it at the right before your antenna, and you can actually see with your length of coax at whatever frequency desired, you can actually see what your loss is of your coax exactly down to the the foot essentially. You could use calculators, yes, but real world it could be different.
But the Rig Analyzer doesn't do that. Those ball and ass ones.
You need to have two. Like, if Justin, if you want to hold yours up again, you have to have two channels. You have to have a receiving channel. So you have your S1 or S11 and your S21. For SWR, you only need the one that has it's the one on the right as Justin's holding it up, and that's your SWR. That's your transmitting one. But when it comes to insertion loss and then a couple other measurements, it requires you to have your other channel, your receiving channel, because you have to actually transmit the signal. Ooh, someone's microphone's dying. Oh, I don't know. But you have to have a transmitting signal and a receiving signal to do insertion loss and a couple other measurements, which is something the Rig Expert doesn't do.
I borrowed that from Vondo. Vondo let me borrow his.
Hey, we've got we've got real quick. We've got Roy and KA3VDT that showed up in the chat. I haven't seen any other video, but are either of you guys there? Want to jump in and say hi real quick? And 3, 2, 1, back to Connor.
Well, one of them left. Hey, Roy,
Okay.
you're muted right now if you are trying to speak, but we'd love to hear from you, buddy.
Yeah, please join us.
If not, Connor's gonna maximize the time, dude.
Hey,
I wouldn't say
quickly,
maximize it.
hey, quickly,
I'm
Connor,
just
don't
messing
you
with you,
have,
Connor. Come on, kiddo.
What's that?
Dude, I don't even mean to call you kiddo, dude. You're a super bright guy. I ain't taking anything from you, dude.
I think he just called you a little twerp live on YouTube, Connor. I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
No, I didn't call him a twerp. I just I got 20-year-old kids myself, dude, and they still call them kiddos.
Oh, I was hearing Michael. Go ahead. I think you were asking me something.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I noticed you have some classic vintage Radio Shack gear behind you. What kind of?
Oh.
DX 160 or 150?
Wow, you have an eye. I think I explained this at one point, so I'm gonna do a stand up and walk around here. So I've got. You guys still can hear me, okay, right?
Oh yeah, we're good. You're
so
Learn how to
I've
make your
got-
bed.
I get. Hey, listen. I have a backpack with a bunch of shortwave.
Hey, I
listening
could smell
gear.
those sheets from here, dude. Let's just
Ugh.
get on
Hey,
with your
that
thing.
room.
I've got
Oh,
a candle.
man.
So I've got. I guess I'll kind of explain my shack over here because I have two shacks. I have my UHF VHF commercial. You guys can't see it. It's on my QRZ if you want to look it up. But starting from like here, I've got a Kenwood TS2000. That's my main radio. I've got just a normal Radio Shack scanner.
Isn't
I'm
that
not
yours too, Kellen?
I'm
You
not
got that same radio?
I'm not a scanner person, but it actually holds a really nice part in my heart. A friend of ours passed away. He gave it to me before he passed, so I've kept it around. This is a DX160. Michael pointed out correctly. That was actually my great grandfather's and is still sensitive to this day. It sounds great. Got the DX200. This was my father's when he was in his
And I believe I am
teenage.
on camera.
In his teenage years, it's a DX200. It's got some issues. It only really hears AM broadcast. I can't hear any shortwave stations, so that's what I use it for. And then I've got my two commercial higher frequency stuff up in the commercial bands sitting next to it because I constantly need to go over there to double check some things. And yeah, Nick, that's an out-of-date picture. I gotta update them. But if you scroll up, Nick, you'll see my desk.
I like that. Real cool.
If you scroll up, Nick, or whoever's screen sharing.
Hold on
I think
a
it's
minute.
Nick. Oh.
Now, let me ask you, Connor. I know you're a bit just 18 or so, but is that DX your first exposure to shortwave radio, or what was your first exposure to shortwave radio as a kid? A younger kid.
So my first shortwave radio, I would say I had. Okay, so I actually was given. I never listened to shortwave until about a year ago ish. I was given a Kenwood TS 480 or 580. Yeah, it's a flingy flangy Motorola. But basically, I was given a Kenwood TS 480, 580, whatever it is. And it's deaf, actually. I'm bringing it out to field day and letting someone else look at it because I can't figure it out why it's not working. And then I was given the TS2000, and from there I've just had some really difficult times when it comes to the HF stuff because I don't have. So sadly, like 3 years ago, the parents wanted the tree gone out of the yard, and that tree would have been absolutely perfect to set up some type of dipole. But now I can't do that, and another big issue is my PG&E power drop.
Are you talking about this tree right here?
Yeah, that tree. Definitely that tree.
Okay, you replanted
Scroll
it.
scroll up all the way. You'll see the first picture is my desk setup. That's probably the one I'm most proud of. Up more. There we go.
Oh, wow.
So basically, I've got a PG&E drop, which in any other house comes in right off the line, completely straight, in my neighborhood at least. My house, it comes diagonal over the neighbor's yard into my house, and where I would have my wire going the longest length that it can. So I can't really do anything crazy for an antenna setup. So basically, I've just had 50 feet of wire on my roof, and it does horrible. Like, I can't even hear WWV. And I've got the radios now to do it. I've got the SDR Play RSP1A. Great, absolute great, great piece of kit. If anybody's interested, $99, 100% worth it. But yeah, it's been difficult. I'm planning on doing a fence line antenna, about 163 feet total length, which is about I believe it's
those links are dead, by the way.
almost perfect.
Oh, Justin, come on, bud.
Oh, Justin, update your QRZ.
Come on, I got better things to do than hang out on the internet, folks. Come on, there's radio to play.
But yeah, so antennas are pretty difficult here to do.
Don't be an
properly.
anti-nerd, Justin, because I know you're a nerd, dude. You're like a director of nerds, so don't be an anti-nerd.
Yeah, but
what's your call sign,
see. That
Roy?
was my.
So, Connor, what about Roy? What's your call sign?
Hey, Roy, what's your call sign?
My call sign, hopefully I'm available. KJ7OKL. I've been a text.
There he is, right there.
Red Washington. All right. Oh, a little drone too.
The drone.
Yeah,
Nice.
I got
Right on, dude. Your site's better than Justin's.
I got three or four.
Justin, you're
I got
horrible.
I got 3 or 4 drones running around here. One of them,
Hey, let's go back. I want to see the drones. Let's see his profile again.
It just had one.
it's just the one big. It's just the one big one right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got a movie camera and a still camera that rotates, and
Nice. Those things are like so cool now. I mean, you could get them to like, if they lose like the RF connection, they just come back, right? There's all kinds of really
this one will
super
come
cool
back
stuff.
if it feels that it's running out of distance. It'll turn around and come back on its own, or you got a button on it that'll say return to home, and then it comes back and lands and shuts itself off, which
That
makes
is
it very easy
super
when
fresh. Yeah, that
it
is
runs out of
super cool.
eyesight. My eyesight's getting a little strong.
Right on, Roy. Thanks for coming by again. I remember you, man.
Yeah,
I know. I absolutely remember you. Thank you for coming by again, dude.
No, I try to find you guys every Saturday night that I can, and Wednesday nights I try to find you when I can, and it just seems that I'm not finding you guys. But you put me on Crone or whatever.
We're usually Wednesday night, guys. We're usually Wednesday night on this. I know there's a lot of like different guys who do stuff that we do too, or like that we're associated with. But you could catch us Wednesday nights, PST, 7 p.m. on Nick's channel.
Yeah, we're either doing nothing or we're doing something every Wednesday night.
Yeah, I know, but you guys are.
That's every night, but we just do it on video on Wednesdays.
You've given me a lot of suggestions and things that I've tried. And,
Well, we appreciate it, Roy.
I'm trying to get a TV monitor hooked up to this laptop, but it seems like the laptop's MDI port is plugged with something.
We got Rick tonight too. Good to see you too, sir.
But
always a pleasure, man.
Bob, what was it? Was Bobby? He was making his own build.
Bobby Lee.
Bobby Lee, that's right.
You talking about Bobby's bug out box?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bobby's bug out boxes. He should like patent that name. I mean, it just sounds so dope. It just sounds so awesome.
But
Bobby is incredibly awesome at that sort of stuff. So
I've lost his email and I've lost his call sign.
well, I don't know his call sign off
His
the top
call
of my
sign
head.
is KD6KWV.
KD is
Kilo Delta 6 Kilo Whiskey Victor.
Let's do that again.
Catch him on the Cocoa Fusion. I know he's there all the
He's
time.
literally there right now.
It's Kilo November
Kilo Delta
6
Kilo Whiskey 7.
It should be on your chat box
Sorry,
now,
V,
Roy.
Victor.
You should be able to see it in the chat.
Where's
Dylan, you
that?
taking off, dude?
Bottom?
Yeah, we got a couple minutes left. Rick, what's going on? How was your net?
Good. This I was gone from about 7:30 to when I showed up here. This was my last net as president of the club. So we're having elections tomorrow, and I'm standing down as I've done my year, and so other people. So I might have more time for this group.
There you go.
We'll see. But,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You taking off, Rick? All these people need you, dude. You're like the Elmer of your crew, dude.
Well, we'll see.
You know, there is a big ham
most of the
fest
rest
over
of the-
there I might go to.
Yeah, most of the rest of the board is staying, so they're experienced and all, and we've got a new president coming in, and I'll still be training him and stuff. So, but anyway, just it won't happen. I won't be putting as much time into the Wednesday net as I usually do.
Yeah.
And so what's the plan then, Rick? What's the plan for you, dude? I mean, I can't imagine you're gonna stop playing.
No,
your
I
fucking
still have
radios, dude.
technical interest. Did you guys know that I also fly radio-controlled planes? That's another hobby.
I did not know. I mean, it's a good translation. There's FRD, right? W1 FRD is a huge drone cat out here too.
What's your call sign, Rick?
What?
I also
What's your
have
call
some
sign?
radio control model airplanes, electrics and glow fuel. I've spent since 1964 when I was taught how to fly model airplanes. And so I've been in it for quite a few years, and I got quite a bit of equipment, motors and planes. But thank you a lot.
That's good fun. It's good fun, man.
Yeah, let me say something. We actually gave me and the vice president of the club are both into radio-controlled aircraft. He's also a pilot, but we gave a talk to the VHF club. In fact, I think some of you know our website and all, and the handout is there. But I did planes, gliders, and helicopters, and he did quadcopters. So we kind of covered all bases and just gave an overview of the hobby and all. It was very fun.
Yeah, it's been a great hobby for me, and the guy that taught me how to fly was a world or Korean pilot. So he taught me a whole lot about flying.
I'm kind of curious about Rick, dude, like giving up your presidency, dude. I know it's going to give you a little bit of time, maybe a couple hours a week. What are you going to fill yourself with there? Because I can't imagine you're not a nerd like the rest of us and going to fill your time with some radio garbage, dude.
Let me say though, I've got other technical hobbies. The other day, I actually posted on 3 different groups.io ham radio clubs. So there's the local DX club, the local Aries club, and the club that I'm president of. And I gave a talk on slide rules. So that was fun. But history, how they work, everybody brought their slide rules to show and talk
That's
about
super
what
nerdy, dude. I love it.
Back in the 60s and early 70s, and then how they died. And some showed their 1971 calculators, and all that. It was very fun.
I picture a digital mode in your future, dude.
Yeah,
I
my
picture an
dad
all-star
tried to teach me
node.
that
You
slide
too,
rule
Roy,
in
a digital node, man. You too, Brandon. Digital's, it's the future, man. It's like crypto coins.
Did you know, by the way, I've got a D-Star radio, a DMR radio, and a Yaesu System Fusion radio, and recently I got the Pi Star Raspberry Pi hotspot. It's right over here. So
yes, I got one of these sitting here. I built it for like 20 or 30 bucks off of Chinese parts, man. Absolutely. This is not even hooked up. I just built it because I needed to know how to do it, dude. I just needed to know how to do it.
I'm gonna break real quick and shut down YouTube. Just wanted to say bye to everybody. We'll see everyone next week. Thank you for watching, and hope to see everybody next Wednesday, 7/3.